This episode is powered by Vantelira. We go inside scaling operations, fix the process, and build a system that keeps it running.
Action. It is time to shine.
Love it. Hello and welcome to the Forward Deployed Operator. I am Easy. I am here today with Mariela Katz. She is the co founder of the Canada wide direct to consumer nut, seed, and dry fruit brand that she launched in 2023. The model is skipping the middleman, importing direct, pack every bag fresh, and ship it across the country. Before Notary, she built and sold a marketing agency, which means Mariela walked into a physical, perishable, operational heavy product as a marketer, and I believe she learned the operations the hard way in public, one Canadian summer at a time. Mariela, welcome.
Thank you for having me. This was such a good recap. Yes to all of it.
I love it. I've been stalking you for a while now, and I'm so glad that the world put us together last summer,
Yes.
2025. So I want you to talk a little bit more about, because I did a very summarized recap of what this journey has been. How do you end up deciding I'm done with marketing? I want to get into food. What led you to that?
Nuts more specifically. I'm so happy we're chatting today because I feel like it's been 3 years now. We're just celebrating our third anniversary. So yay for that.
Yay.
Um, and I feel like it's really, we have done a big, we've done a few chapters, let's put it like that. As you said it, I have learned a lot of those chapters the hard way, which in my books is the only way, because if you don't do it yourself, you won't really be able to learn it or see what you might be missing out and where the flaws are. So, Nuttery, 3 years, direct to consumer brand. We just recently opened our retail component. So, with our smaller format bags, which are these
Yay.
ones, and we have 16 of those now. But on the website, we have over 250 SKUs, which is a lot. I am aware, and we'll talk about that later. But
Oh, I
it's
have so many.
uh, my mission also is to offer that choice to my consumer to be essentially their only destination for everything that is pantry related. So 3 years ago, direct to consumer, we import all of those goods directly. From there, we roast, coat, mix everything in house. And then we pack that directly for our clients' orders, one order at a time.
I'm still in shock when I hear the whole model, how you have built it. It's incredible, and you can feel as a consumer myself, like you can feel the freshness of everything that you get. It's a very high quality product, I have to say. I ordered, of course, I ordered this week, and my daughter, so I had to bring the product to the office and hide it because they saw the box and they were like, "We're ready. We're ready to open them and eat it." And I'm like, "No, no, wait. I have a couple of things to do with it first." So I want to hear a little bit more about that pack per order. So never going into the shelf pre-pack, which is what I believe it draws a lot of that freshness. And how do you get to manage that? Like, what is how have you come to make sure that every time a customer places an order, you just pack it and ship it,
I
not
have to
have it
say,
pre.
this is something that we didn't start necessarily with having that as our mission specifically. We didn't start like, we are going to pack forever every single bag per order. But initially, when you are starting a brand new brand, you have 8 orders or 3 orders a day. So what else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? And I didn't want to pre-pack things because I know what's the shelf life and how much fresher it could be if it's fresh packed fresh per order, etc., etc. So we simply started like that, and we just never stopped because we saw the difference that it makes. And now it's absolutely become part of our mission and our state. It's our statement. But yeah, it's not something that we necessarily, thought about at the beginning, but it was simply the beginning. We saw the difference that it made. No one else in the industry is doing that, by the way. Everyone is pre-packing, hundreds of bags at the time with machines, with whatnot. So those bags are sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting until they are finally purchased, which we don't do.
And you know how it goes, right? They sit at the warehouse and then they go to the distributor and then they go to the shelf and then they sit on the warehouse of the grocery store and then they go to the actual shelf because it's longer than what people might be thinking about it. I
And
really
there's the other side of it, which is we're very fortunate, and it's also part of what we do best, is that we import all those products in direct, which when we think about all the other brands that exist that are doing, nuts or mixes or nutty snacks, however you want to call it, but they are basically buying from us or someone like us, and most of them are not sourcing those products in direct. So it makes a whole difference. You're completely right.
it's um it's it's amazing to hear you describing the supply chain that you guys have built. It's part of the reason that I started doing this series also with the CPG brands of the world, because it's people see the brands on the shelf and they don't necessarily know exactly what it takes to bring it to life and how the impact that it has on everyone.
Mhm.
And you said it yourself at the beginning that you believe learning operations yourself is the best way, and it is the example of you starting to pack your orders because at the beginning there's not that much volume, and then realizing, wait a second, this is actually a business model that works and is actually better for the brand itself. But if you think about it, let me ask you how difficult it is to plan for your inventory when you have to say, I need to have this much cashews in this format, because you're removing the layer of the format. How difficult it is. And talk about cashews because that's my favorite one.
Yeah, with that model come many challenges that we have really, I think, nailed to this day. I think touching some wood, hopefully nothing comes up, but it works. It works. We work with a platform that I think everyone knows, Shopify. I have my first milestone here
Oh
sitting
my
with
God, congrats.
you. Uh, Looking forward to our second one at our 100,000 order, which we hope will be early next year. So
What was the target for that one?
this one was the 10,000 order.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Congratulations.
that last
Amazing.
year. Yeah,
Wow.
that's fun. And so we work with Shopify initially, simply because we have the inventory, right? So let's start with that. We always have the inventory. So it's not like I need to make sure that I order of something in order to have it. So for most part, I have the inventory, especially on the raw ingredients. Now, the transformed ingredients, whether that is roasted, salted, coated, or mixed, that's when I need to have inventory or to make inventory, right? So we're once again, even on the roasting and the coating, we're very lucky because we're doing that ourselves. So it's also an internal process. So, I speak with my team, I make sure that, the order is passed for that and it's in the works almost, in the next few days. If it's something rushed, we can make that happen. But I don't depend on anyone on the outside for that, which I think is once again here the biggest benefit. Um, we have played a lot with Shopify in order to, you know, make sure that everything works in terms of inventory. It's 1 kg at the time that we're selling, right? So it's not like I am selling only to retailers and I say, okay, I know that I have sold 1 pallet of this mix. That is very easy to pull out of my inventory. But when I have, especially 250 SKUs plus, selling 1 kg at the time, our inventory, and heads up and thank you, Benoit, our inventory manager, that does an incredible job at keeping up with what we've sold and what we're producing, making sure that we have everything in terms of that. But yes, our inventory, it comes out 1 kilo at the time from our inventory.
Amazing, amazing. And it's shout out to the people that are working those behind the scenes, because those
And
are
I'll
amazing.
even go a little bit more specific, because just yesterday we were talking about it. We launched last year our virtual nut bar. So you can make your own platter or your own mix from a selection of choices, which obviously we agree that the weight in a platter for, let's say, mini pretzels to roasted salted cashews is completely different, because obviously your space is the same. So the space that your mini pretzels are going to take and the weight is much lighter than what your roasted salted cashews are going to weigh in that, right? So it's taking out of the inventory all those little components. And I can tell you, this was a huge challenge, and everyone challenged me. And I was like, this is the vision, guys. We are making the virtual nut bar. We're making it happen. So please help me out.
Oh, I know, I've seen it, and it's very well set up on the online shopping. Like, you can select whatever you want. It's very good to, I think, these brands, and for the growing brands that are out there, or the people that want to start their own brand, or they're in this middle ground of, I don't know what's gonna be next, that the having the right people behind you, it's amazing. And second, having the leader like you that is going to challenge the status quo and say, this is the way we're going to go, let's figure it out, because this is what makes sense for the market that I'm targeting. So in terms of, how do you manage the, because you're shipping in 1 kilo bags, that's not, and it's not everybody orders just pretzels. It's like,
Yeah.
some people order cashews, and
But
it's a heavy
but
one
it's still a
kilo.
kilo, and that's the beauty of it. That even if it's a lighter product, it's still, well, funnily enough, the mini pretzels, because they don't fit in our 1 kg
Yeah.
bags, is one of the exceptions that we sell in 500 grams. But
Yes.
99% of our items are in 1 kg bags. Yes.
And how do you manage the economics of, to make sure that the shipping is not eating your margins, for example, when you have to ship across Canada, let's say, in order to Vancouver?
I'm gonna I wish I had like a margarita to answer that.
We're gonna have to start recording this podcast at night.
I agree. No, but in reality, shipping, and that was one of the things that I had to learn by doing it and looking at all the orders where we ship. I had to do the shipping, and I've done. My team knows this. I've done the shipping for so long, and I'm still very much involved. And to this day, we are still always reevaluating and making sure that we're staying on top of not necessarily just the shipping costs. Yes, that's a thing, but that we're working with the best companies out there that can help us ship our products in the best possible way. But at the beginning, especially when you start a new brand, I didn't know anything about the shipping industry world, the logistics of it. And did I really need to know much when I'm starting with, as I was giving the example earlier, with 8 orders at the time? It was Canada Post all the way. And I was like, okay, well, this is very expensive, but with some more volume, we will get there. And the volume sort of started ramping up. And I'm like, okay, we're not getting necessarily cheaper. What can we do? And that's when you start reevaluating. But to be honest, I should have started this process, this thinking before, but no one really wants to talk to you when you're starting a brand and you have no volume. They're like, okay, what's your weekly volume? Like, oh, I don't know. I haven't even started a brand. So you need to always show up with something tangible. And I'm happy, I think we've definitely overpaid in our year. First year, we've heavily overpaid on shipping that were definitely eating up margins. But at the same time, that built a portfolio. I was able to show whoever I'm now working with, this is my volume, this is our base, and we're looking to grow together.
And that company that you're using, they're very fast on their shipping, and they have very good tracking.
Yes, they do. We're improving it, I think maybe 5 times. I've changed companies at least 5 times.
The latest one is very good. I can test it.
They're my
Um,
good
in
guys.
in terms of that information, because you're talking about being able to tell them this is my volume, this so that, have you found it difficult to have clarity on it? And if not, how have you been able to keep up with having access to that data on your side? Is it more heavy? Do you rely a lot on the Shopify statistics, or do you have Benoit crunching numbers in an Excel file in the back end?
Benoit takes care of the inventory. The clarity here, specifically, your question is about the shipping.
Yeah, the volumes. Yeah, the volumes that you're
The
shipping.
volumes of orders.
Yes.
We have some months set targets and some months unset targets. And we always want to, of course, beat our highest month, which so far has been every month. So that's the unsaid target, is we always want to be doing better and better. And our partners across can see that. Obviously, whoever we're shipping with, they're able to see that, hey, this month we've shipped more than last month, and so on and so forth. So that allows us to have a little bit of, more of a negotiation power, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're not a startup anymore for some of these companies. You become a big player for them.
Fantastic. Every system you fixed became someone else's win. The next one has your name on it. An 8-week live cohort. You solve a real problem inside a real company, ship a working AI system, and live with the case study, the build, and the title Forward Deployed Operator. Join the waitlist at fdoschool.com. That is FDOSCHOOL.com. Do you use any AI supported platforms? The team does. What's your
AI right now is used more on the website and on the creation front, I would say. But we don't rely heavily on it. We use it a little bit also for our customer service. Yeah, I would say that's really it. I would say the core of what we're doing right now is really focusing on the product and on the communication to the client and making sure everyone is well taken care of. Recently, my big focus was customer service. I took care of customer. I think you know that, Izzy. I took care of customer service myself for 3 years. I recently hired someone amazing. So shout out to Silvana if she's going to watch this. And she has been incredible and does it exactly the same way that I do. So full on human touch. We take care of our clients the same way as we would be taking care of our moms. If my mom is shopping at Nuttery, I want us to treat all of our clients like I would be treating my mom. And that's the motto for customer service. And that's not an AI response. The AI response is a little bit too standard. I want the extra warmth in there to feel like Nuttery is a human brand forward sort of business.
amazing? It's very refreshing to hear that. I want to talk publicly about something that you shared with me last year. If you are okay with that, your lessons learned about Canadian summer and chocolate.
Oh, I'm going to take one more sip of my.
Another sip of the mocha margarita. So share with us what happened last summer.
Last summer was an insane summer. As if you're watching visually, I still have no gray hairs from it,
That's a
but
win.
I was really doubting it. So what happened? We launched our chocolate category in October of 2024. It was a completely new category. We had acquired a coating and roasting, basically, company, and that's the moment where we were able to basically do it all ourselves. We didn't have that aspect before that. So all of a sudden, from day one to day two, we have access to basically any chocolate, Greek yogurt, blah, 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 covered items. So we launch our chocolate category. It's a little scary. It's new packaging, it's new products. We're basically almost doubling our SKUs, in a day or almost. And the launch goes insanely well. The category becomes so popular for us, and it still is to this day. I would say 3/4 of our orders have something chocolatey in them. So that's great. Holidays pass, spring comes, we're killing it for Easter, obviously, with the chocolatey things. And then comes a hot May. And I get the first email of, I received my order and my chocolate was melted. And I go, because it hadn't crossed my mind that it was going to melt. And I know that it was foolish to not think about that, but I was so focused on so many other things. And I'm running a super lean team because the focus is growth, it's the clients, it's the packaging, it's the pack per order. So all my team is basically in production. You know what I mean? I didn't have anyone to come and do this reflection with me. So I want to say in 1 week, I explored very heavily all my possible options of what people are doing, direct, indirect competitors, people that are sending just frozen foods or smoothies. Even I spoke to so many people, companies here from the States, from even China, but obviously I couldn't work with anyone so far because I needed a solution now. And the part of the conversation is I need an immediate solution. It's not a tomorrow, it's not a next week, it's a now solution. And I learned so much in that 1 week with all the stress. I would say it was probably one of the stressful moments of running Nuttery, because it was a big fear of, what are we going to do? Are we going to have to stop the chocolate line for the summer? How are we going to do this? Obviously, ice packs needed to be involved. Obviously, freezers needed to be involved. As some sort of isolation system needed to be involved. And all of those, basically just 3 steps. Having a freezer, having ice packs, and we're not speaking about small ice packs. We're speaking about big ice packs because the bags are big. And a system is that a box. I had people were telling me, oh, everyone is using this. I won't say the name, this specific box, and perfect. I speak with the company. I actually have a contact there. She's like, we can do this sort of fast for you. It's going to be a month. Minimum order 1 truckload. I'm like, whoa, guys. First, I can't wait a month. Second, a truckload. We're not speaking for what I need right now. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And so on and so forth. And I had a few, and there's so many technologies that exist out there, which was very interesting to find out, until we stumbled on our current solution, which seemed like a risk. I will say it because I wasn't 100% sure in it. We ordered the system. It's 2 specific papers that are heat or cold isolating. So we used our ice pack, those specific papers wrapped in the products all around it, and it worked. We couldn't even really test it because we were in such a rush. So we sort of packed a few different boxes, different sizes, small, medium, big, left them outside the door of the warehouse, and we waited a full day to see if it was gonna hold. We left them in the sun, and it held, and we were like, let's do this. We can do it. And that was it. And that's the solution. And they've become amazing partners. And we're still using their solution to this day.
I have very vivid memories and I get chills hearing the story again because I was there in the moment where you were dealing with it. And I
Yes.
remember, Mariela, we talked. I mean, we had lunch that day. And I think 2 weeks later, I had my order with the new packaging style to protect it from the heat. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, this is the powerhouse that Mariela is, that you're just gonna make things happen and make what your product needs to tend the customer to to serve your customers, to make sure that you're not failing them, and that it transfers really.
And I appreciate it. Thank you. And today we won't be able to touch on that, but in a year we will talk about this. But if all goes well, there is a completely new division of Nuttery that will be launching hopefully before the end of the year, and for which I will need all of this sort of ice pack knowledge for. And I'm ready. I'm like, I already have all the contacts. They're all friends now. Bring the challenge on. I can do it.
And that's the part, again, going back to the beginning, doing the operations yourself, running it, going through it, taking the customer service department for the 3 years you've done it. You're preparing yourself for something. You don't know when you're going to need it, but you're going to use it. It's the preparation that you're getting, that it's what I believe this show is all about, like understanding. You have to get in the job to understand how
Yeah.
the operations are done, to make sure that you're able to improve it, make it better, and make it useful for the future. To make it scalable, you have to go through all of this and learn it properly. um is there anything that you have said, I'm not going to do this, like this is, I'm not going to do it, but then you change your mind at the end, and with the results you're like, oh my god, if I wouldn't have done this, this would be completely changed. So one operational decision that you almost didn't make, but that changed the business in any way possible.
It's funny because my answer here, it's a marketing one, but affects operations directly or our orders.
It's all related.
It is all related. And we worked with a company that helped us out for some email flow automations, and they created basically some flows for us. For the people that don't know, it's basically triggers for different emails. You've done this, you received this email, then it's been 3 days, you received that email, etc., etc. And they were like, we need to create a pop-up on your site for SMS subscriptions. So not email newsletters, SMS newsletters. And I was like, guys, we are not that kind of brand. You have completely misunderstood. It's way too commercial. Who is going to subscribe to SMS from Nuttery? Like, let's be realistic. No, 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 no. They're like, Mariela, trust us. Let us do it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I need to sleep on it. So I slept on it for a few days. I'm like, okay, I'm willing to test it. I'm like, but I'm going to be very specific about the look of this pop-up because it can. So they had proposed me some pop-ups. I'm like, this cannot be anything like. So I got so stuck up on the look of the pop-up, which is our pop-up today. This pop-up has taken, I want to say, just 10 hours of talking, negotiating, this, that, arguing back and forth. Yes, no, the look, this, that. We ended up doing it ourselves. Me and my colleague Sabrina. Shout out Sabrina for this. Everyone injured me during this process. We did it. The pop-up is live. In a month, we had 4,000 SMS subscribers. The second we sent a text to our SMS subscribers, orders straight in, because it's our most loyal clients. We call them our VIP clients. They get any offers first. They're always the first to know. They have access to the best deals, this, that, and it just works. Today, we have 25,000 SMS subscribers. It's something I didn't believe in whatsoever. And that today has become something huge for what we do, our operation, our promotions. We even have to, even at certain times when you have promotions, we need to divide the send out. There will be a send out today and there will be a send out tomorrow, because if too many orders come in at the same time, we're going to be backlogged. So
A-
that's the
and
one.
that's the and that's the operational part that you
Exactly that,
understand.
the operational
Oh my
aspect.
god.
We have had to become very mindful of our marketing communications because otherwise it will create backlogs.
Amazing.
And it's not that I don't have enough team. It's just about the orders coming all at the same time.
Yeah, it's for a one-off, it's if you do this every day, then yes. But if you're doing it on a regular basis, then it's normally treated as a the special occasion kind of event, and then we prepare for that, but not that's not your standard
No,
operations
that's not exactly.
size. So there is a tradition on this show where a previous guest, has left a question for you. I am going to ask you that. And then I have an add on to the question because I was like, I know who's going to get the question. I want to hear the second part of it.
Okay.
So the previous guest left this question for you, Mariela. When did you feel the absolute lowest? The moment you genuinely consider quitting? I'm done with this shit. Out. When?
I would say it was in the first year of the business, maybe a little bit before it took off. And it wasn't that I'm quitting, I'm leaving this, but I'm like, this is running. This is good. We're doing. I forget how many orders per day we might have been doing. Maybe like 30-ish. I'm like, this will be a small business. It will be a side thing, and it will run its course. And maybe I need to think about doing something else. And there was a moment in there because I was very pregnant. Well, not very pregnant, but I was pregnant at the time. So let's say like 5, 6 months. And I'm like, I'm so pregnant. What else am I going to do now? I have nothing else. And my best friend at the time, she was she was unemployed and was going through a career transition, and she was spending all her time with me, right? We were going to the gym, taking care of ourselves, doing all these things. And she started a job. And I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to go all in. And we make this as a joke to this day. I'm like, I owe you all my success because you found yourself a job. And I decided I'm going all in. I'm giving it until I give birth, going full 150% on this. And I did. And it took off like month after month after month after month after month. Yeah. So that was the lowest. And that's how I overcame it.
And that was my second part of the question. How do you get out of it? So it was really just decided this is the way through, and I'm just gonna go through that door, and that's it.
Yeah. And I think that's entrepreneurship too, And I think my biggest thing that I do as an entrepreneur or as a founder or as a CEO is to solve problems all day, every day. And it also takes practice. I think when I was starting in my entrepreneurship journey, I was like, oh, another problem. Can this be easier? No, that's just what it is. And it takes practice and you make it perfect. And today, the problems that rise, I find them really, and it's very funny how the mindset has shifted. I find them as learning opportunities. And I'm like, we're going to learn from this and we're going to improve and we're going to use that as our new benchmark. And has been the model for us for all this time.
Amazing. This has been a great conversation. I have to ask you to leave a question for my next guest that is gonna sit on that chair. I'm not gonna tell you who is, but imagine where notary could be in 20 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
It's that person is coming to answer your question. So what question will you leave for them?
Perfect. I didn't even need to know. I already had a question in mind, and it's funny because it sort of came after your question. And my question is, at your highest point, how did you celebrate your win?
Hey,
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you, Mariela, for spending this time with me. I know that this is not going to be the last time, and I'll leave it at enjoying my cashews here.
Yes.
Thank you so much again. This was Mariela Katz on the Forward Deployed Operator. That's it. Yay! Hey, that's it for this one. Follow the show so the next episode finds you. And the newsletter goes out every Tuesday. The link is below. See you next time on the Forward Deployed Operator.